words are about to be spoken here on the Extreme Life of Matt Hardy, brought to you by the Ad-Free Shows, Podcast Heat, and Wrestling According to Alba Networks. I'm John Alba, the host of the Extreme Life of Matt Hardy, and we are recording this live to tape at the Indianapolis Marriott downtown, just ahead of the 2025 Royal Rumble. This is a live taping of the Extreme Life of Matt Hardy, which, of course, drops every single Friday wherever you get your podcasts, Spotify, Apple, and anywhere else. We take a look back through the life and times of Matt Hardy, Jeff Hardy, the Hardy Boys, and talk all things current events in the world of professional wrestling. And on this edition of the Extreme Life of Matt Hardy, it's a Royal Rumble extravaganza. We're going to talk about how the magic is made within the Royal Rumble, how the sauce... or no, what the secret sauce is, how the sausage is made. That's the idiom. And then we're going to talk about the Royal Rumble 2000 iconic tag team tables match as well between the Hardy Boys and the Dudley Boys. After that, we're going to take a quick intermission, and Brother Nero, Jeffrey Hardy, will serenade the masses with an acoustic concert. So are you guys ready to have a little fun here? Well, as I said, I'm the co-host of the Extreme Life of Matt Hardy, but I would not be here without the main event himself. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the broken one, the woken one, the spoken one himself, Mr. Matt Hardy. Plenty of deleters in Indianapolis. They everywhere.
We love you.
These
in-house deleters, they're everywhere.
Well, how awesome is this, man? We love doing these live shows. WrestleCon's been awesome to work with the past couple years, and we are here before the 2025 Royal Rumble, and we're going to have a whole bunch of fun here on the Extreme Life of Matt Hardy. You guys signed for 5+ hours today. I think the Hardy Boys are doing all right in 2025.
Yes. You know, something that actually really makes me proud is that the last two people that were signing today were myself and Jeff, and then Joe Hendry, which are two TNA acts. And I think that says a lot about the resurgence TNA is going through right now. I love hearing that. Joe Hendry is someone I'm a big fan of. I've become close friends with him.
Do you believe?
Oh, I believe. Of course, I believe. Joe Hendry is good people, and I'm really happy to see that he has won the TNA World title. And I'm very happy that he is the flag bearer for TNA. I think he's a great guy to be the flag bearer.
He's awesome. I went up to him after and I said, hey, this is your first signing as champ, and there's going to be many more to come because I think Joe Hendry's going to be TNA World Champ for a while, and I think he's going to be a great representative of the company for years to come. And it's awesome to see how you guys have linked up with him. The Hardys are tag team champions in 2025, and they're crushing it right now. Let's give it up for the Hardys.
All right. Thank you.
Actually,
thank you. Thank you very much.
If I'm not mistaken, someone quite literally gave you your flowers today.
Yes, someone did quite literally give us our flowers today. There was a young lady who came through the line and said, "Oh my God, I have to give these to you guys." Actually, it's when we were coming back from doing the photo ops, the pro photo ops. She was there. "I'm coming to do it. I'm coming to your table. Here, these are yours," and to give us these two nice bouquet of flowers, right? And we got a whole bunch of gifts, which was cool. Kind of reminded me of 2000. In 2000, the Hardys were the king of getting gifts. I can tell you that, when we used to be young and handsome. You know what I mean?
If I'm not mistaken, someone tried to gift you their blood during that era. Is that correct?
Well, they sent it to my P.O. box. We had a P.O. box, and there was a young lady who sent me a vial of her blood, and it wasn't a small; it was a big vial of her blood. And she said in the note, she said, "We've met, and I know you don't know me well, but we are connected. We are linked, and I need you to take this blood, put it into a syringe, and put it into your own blood vessels." She said, "And if you put my blood into your blood vessels, then give me a vial of yours, and this is my return address." She said, "And we'll for always be linked. We can always fill one another." And I mean, it sounded like a script out of True Blood. It was wild.
And that's how broken Matt Hardy was born.
And wait, what?
Is that delete? Delete.
Oh, delete. Yeah, I think that's what happened.
You deleted that mail real quick.
I deleted the whole PO box after that. We changed. So no, that was wild. That's probably the most wild fan interaction I've ever had. So that she was, at least I'll give it to her. She was committed to the bit.
Imagine if she said wait and she's like, it was me.
Yeah.
It was my blood you turned down.
Took off the hood like this. It was me all along.
Matt Hardy. No, listen, Matt and I have been doing this podcast. We're on year 4 of doing this show, and we haven't missed an episode. We're more than 160 episodes in as we tape this. And if you've never discovered the podcast, it's The Extreme Life of Matt Hardy. You can find it on social media at Matt Hardy Pod. If you're here tonight, take pictures, tweet them at us, Instagram, whatever, tag us.
Videos, pictures,
yes,
donuts.
Oh my. We love seeing all that stuff. And Matt has such great insight that he offers every single week on the podcast. And we're talking about Royal Rumble, so we're going to have some fun here. But Matt Hardy, we have a tradition on our podcast every single week before we begin talking about our topics, and that is our weekly Matt Fact. So, without further ado, Matt Hardy, please hit us with our WrestleCon Matt Fact.
You had good cadence with the way you said that. Matt Fact, Matt's go-to at P.F. Chang's is Mongolian beef.
We did go to P.F. Chang's before this. He did go with the Mongolian beef.
I did go with the Mongolian beef.
How was it?
It was good. I liked the miso, the sea bass they had there, but they discontinued it from the menu. And I also loved they had a little lobster sushi roll that they discontinued from the menu. So they have a lot of great things, but that's my go-to if I don't see anything else that really stands out or jumps out at me.
Matt and I went down and shot some video. I don't know if any of you have ever heard of Guga on YouTube. He's this renowned YouTube chef who makes steaks. And Matt and I went down there, and Guga had Matt Hardy cooking like $1,000 Japanese A5 picanha Wagyu steaks. And this guy from the Southern Sticks was rocking it with the grill.
And then I put that son of a bitch through a table.
He did.
And that's a true story.
He put Guga through a table. The video's out there. It was awesome. Yeah. And we're going to be talking about putting people through tables on this edition of The Extreme Life of Matt Hardy, because that was the inaugural tag team tables match at the Royal Rumble 2000. But before we dive into that match, let's talk about the Royal Rumble, because on our recent episode, which was about the Royal Rumble 2001, you said that you love the Royal Rumble concept. It's one of your favorites out there. I'd have to assume Brother Nero's the same way. What really drew to you guys about the Royal Rumble concept?
When we were watching the Royal Rumble as a fan, before we were officially in the business and being part of WWE and doing WWE Royal Rumbles, I just thought the Royal Rumble was a really interesting and neat and unpredictable concept. You know, you take 30 guys, you send them in, you have no idea what order they're coming in, you have no idea what rivalries may begin or maybe continue in this match, and there's so many different ways to make cool combinations in the Royal Rumble, and I think the unpredictability of the Royal Rumble is what makes it so compelling, because you never know what you're going to see. Like, for instance, tomorrow's Royal Rumble, kudos to WWE, because they really have a great lineup tomorrow where it is hard to predict who's going to win. There are so many potential people in this match that could legitimately win tomorrow night. I'm curious. We should do some predictions. I'm curious. I'm going to throw out a few names and maybe give me a show of hands. Give me a show of hands if you think they're going to win. All right, let's start with Seth Rollins.
Wow. I'm like, yeah, I think maybe.
I think that's John's pick, by the way.
Yeah.
All right.
Wow, man, I am on the...
How about John Cena? I'm not going to lie, John Cena's my pick right now. And maybe it's the sentimental memory I have of him. He's my sentimental favorite.
There was a former member of the Attitude Era roster who had a unique nickname for John Cena, or really just how he said his name, correct?
Yeah, that was Rikishi. He would say, Xena, what's up, Xena? I mean, Rikishi is like the OG of being cool back in the day. He always has been.
The real tribal chief?
Yeah, I mean, he's just a truly cool cat, and it was cool seeing him today, and it's cool. I got to work with Rikishi many, many times. I got to work with his kids a few times, and I love doing that. I'm a generational guy now. ladies and gents. Yeah, he would, anytime he'd see him, he'd be like, "What's up, Xena? What's up, Xena?" That's literally like with an X. He would spell his name Xena. What's up, Xena?
Yeah, and if he complained about it, then he got a stink face. So.
Oh yeah, you might get the nice stink face that was delightful, or you might get the stink face that is very unpleasant. He had two different versions depending on how much he liked you. Hold up, I got to ask a couple more questions though. How about, does anyone think Roman Reigns could win the Royal Rumble?
Okay, let's see some iffies. Throwing the ones up.
All right,
okay.
there we go. Not the one.
Okay.
What about CM Punk?
Wow.
Oh, look at that. Look at that.
I'm pretty sure like all those people voted for Cena 2 seconds ago, but that's fine.
Yeah, okay. All right.
It's fine. It's fine.
Or some people double dipping. Are you guys double dipping? It's okay. If you are.
They want to be right either way, so it's fine.
All right.
What about Jey Uso?
Yeah.
Anyone yeeting? No? Matt?
Yeah.
Yeet or delete? Do you have a preference?
Yeet! Delete! I just put them together. I can't wait to do that with Jey Uso in the next few months.
Oh. I'm sorry. What did you just say?
I just said in the next few months. I mean, guys, it's pretty open knowledge that WWE and TNA, they have a partnership right now, and there's going to be some crossing over, going back and forth, and it's pretty exciting times. Right?
What if Matt Hardy and Jeff Hardy showed up in the Royal Rumble?
Well, anything can happen in the WWF. That's what Vince used to say, right?
That's true. Yeah, just blink twice if you're in the Rumble. Breathe if you're in the Rumble. Okay. All right. What about on the woman's end? Who do you think might walk away with that one? This will all be obsolete by the time people listen to this.
Of course,
but
it will be. But they'll like it. They'll look back and they'll make fools of us all. Anybody think the returning Charlotte Flair? You know what? All right.
What about Bianca Belair? Wow. Tough crowd.
Is she going to be a surprise?
Could be.
What about Nia Jax?
No.
Yeah.
Boy, Becky Lynch, perhaps? Jade Cargill? AJ Lee.
AJ Lee. What if CM Punk and AJ Lee win?
That would be something. Well, so that's kind of the fun in the Rumble, right? Like, it really lends itself to some unpredictability, but something that a lot of wrestling fans would love to know, because we take a lot of pride in speaking about wrestling in a very fluid and honest, transparent way on our podcast. How does the Royal Rumble come together? Like, take us through that whole process. Who's putting it together? How are the cues given for one thing to happen leading to the next thing?
Well, the Royal Rumble is a long story, right? It's an hour-long story that these guys are telling, but within this hour-long massive story of the Royal Rumble, there's these mini stories within it. And that's something I think WWE does really well, where there could be a guy that gets in it and fights or stays alive until like this rival he wants to get his hands on ends up being in there. There could be someone that eliminates someone out of the Royal Rumble, and he does it in a real suspect way, and that leads to a rivalry between these guys. There's so many great stories that are told in there. For instance, if you go back to 2003, which was probably my favorite Royal Rumble, I was in there. I was doing Matt Hardy, version 1, the Sensei of Mattitude, spitting out mad facts, and I was in there early, and I was starting to have a little run, and kind of everybody was down on the cell, and all of a sudden, and not the Monster Magnet music, oh yeah, I can slap a tornado. It wasn't that. It was
that was so on pitch. That was amazing.
Oh, I know it's not. I'm not a singer. I'm a rapper, brother. Yeah. And then we heard the Hardy Boys being dun 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 dun, dun, and then Jeff sprinted, and I'm backing up like, hey, we should work together, we should be partners, we should be friends. Like, let's eliminate all these other guys, and we'll take care of it. And he's not having any of that. And then we go at it, and he's almost got me eliminated. And Shannon Moore, who was my MF or Mattitude follower, get your minds out of the gutter. And he got down underneath and like was doing a leg press to keep me up on the apron. And then Jeff set me up for a swanton. He goes up. and he blocks him, and he lays on top of me, and Jeff still crushes him anyway. Anyway, he was saving me throughout the match. And I was in this match for a very long time, all the way up to the end. I eventually was eliminated by Brock Lesnar. He gave me an F5 over the top rope. But one of the challenging things is when you're in this long hour story, and I was in there for 40-some minutes, almost 50 minutes, there's so many different people you have to work with, and so many different kind of cues you have to remember, or what are you going to do with this guy when he comes, or this guy, or you have to be here for this or that. So those things can be very challenging and also very taxing in many ways. And you want to make sure you're in good shape for those matches, because they do go for a while, and there's a lot of challenging spots in it. But I think the Royal Rumble is one of the funnest matches ever. For instance, when myself and Bray Wyatt were in a little bit of a feud, and we were having a program, we did a deal where Bray Wyatt was in there, and I came in, and we just fought each other, and we didn't let anybody else stop us. And eventually, I took him out. We took one another out, and that kind of continued our story. So we were telling a story within that big story of the Royal Rumble. So that's kind of what the Royal Rumble is all about. It's if you have a long run, and there's always guys that'll have long runs. I'm so happy that I got to have one in 2003. Those things can be challenging, because you do have a lot. You have a lot that you're responsible for. You have to be accountable for a lot of different individuals and a lot of different moments in the match. But the way they tell stories within the context of the big Royal Rumble, and it continues things on television on a weekly basis on WWE programming, is just so cool. And I think it's just one of the funnest things. And this one, because they have so many legitimate challengers who could win, there's no real winner that you go like, well, this guy's going to win. It has to go this way. There's no one like that this year, and that's the best.
Is there a lot of politicking with the Royal Rumble?
I'm sure there is some, but typically the Royal Rumble is pretty much set, and they know what they're going to do, and there's kind of everybody in a room, and you know where they're going. If the politicking happens, it happens before. I'm sure there's some guys that are going like, hey, I want to be the guy that has a long run in the Royal Rumble. I want to do this, I want to do that, or I want to come in 28th, so I'm not in there that long, whatever it may be. So in wrestling, there's always going to be some politics involved, but usually once it is kind of scripted out and carved out, and people know they know what direction they want to go in, they rock and roll. And there are times in the Royal Rumble where there's surprises and no one is smartened up at all.
Really? So like people in the match just know that there's going to be a person in this spot?
Someone is coming, and they're going to be coming in a spot.
Okay.
And then they're going to throw so-and-so out, or they're going to do this, and they don't even know who it is.
That's amazing.
So
did you ever witness that firsthand?
Yes.
With who?
I know I did. I'm trying to think of who the surprise was.
We just talked about on the podcast the other day. You were in there with Drew Carey.
Yeah, I did know Drew Carey was there, because he was like, you guys aren't going to hurt me, right? Like, I don't even think you're getting in the ring with us, dude. So you're okay.
But he took credit for eliminating you anyway.
He did take credit, yeah. And he's like, Kane, you're not going to hurt me, right? So they took good care of him. But it is cool when they do that, and they have surprises.
That's cool.
They're really kept secretive.
That's cool. That's really awesome. So that's kind of how that's all put together. And it's funny because your most iconic Royal Rumble moment, two of them don't even come from actual Royal Rumble matches.
Right.
Obviously, the subject of our podcast today, the tables match, we'll get to in a second. But you were saying before, the one that people always bring up to you, show of hands here, how many of you freaking hated this guy when he turned on his brother Jeff at the Royal Rumble 2009? Yeah. What a jerk.
Yeah.
How'd that all come to be?
Don't blame me. Blame VKM. Damn Vince. It's one of those things where Jeff and I, when we were working with each other at that time, we both felt comfortable in who we both were at that time with our identities, and it's probably the first time that we felt super comfortable as far as working with each other. And I was able to be a heel and like cut loose and work against Jeff, and I was able to relinquish my fear of being an asshole. And really, whenever you're a heel, whenever you're a bad guy, that's something that is very important, because you can't worry about what people think about you. And one of the things that I worry about in today's current society, there are a lot of heels. There's some still really, really good heels out there who get it, but there's also some newer, younger guys who like get too worried about they don't remember life before the internet, right? They want to see instant feedback to their match, or how was it? Well, this guy sucks. He doesn't really do any good moves, or this or that, or he's boring, or what. I mean, like, if you're a heel, you don't really want people to like you at all. Your job is to get people to dislike you and hate you, and they want to see the good guy beat you up and mop the floor with you. And there's some guys that are like, well, I've got to do my moonsault because it's really cool. People got to know that I'm a good wrestler, you know. But like at the end of the day, with being a heel, there's not supposed to be any qualities that are redeemable within this character and this persona. And I felt this was the time where myself and Jeff were able to really put our finger on that better than ever before. Jeff was super popular during that time. It's crazy. He was selling more merch than John Cena at one point. He was killing it as the champion. As Jeff likes to say, and like people are making shirts about this now. Jeff says, you know, back then I was bigger than Obama. And it's so funny. Yeah, it does. And you know what's so funny? Jeff really, Jeff is so different from me. I wish I could be Jeff because you wouldn't worry about anything in life, just kind of go through carefree. There would be people that would come through, like young black kids. They go, man, we loved you at that time. You were bigger than Obama. You were big. And they would hit Jeff with that. You know what I mean? And then one time Jeff was up at a concert. He said, yeah, they told me back in 2008, I was bigger than Obama. I was like, Jeff, I don't know if you really should say that. You know, it's like it's that. But it's kind of cool. Like people have made shirts and they embrace it and they love it. But Jeff is just the purest of all souls in the world.
He certainly is.
But whenever I hit him with that chair, I still, to this day, I meet a lot of people that have grown up that are either late teenagers or maybe early 20s, and they go, whenever you did that, I wanted to murder you. Yeah, no, I hated you so bad. It made me sick. It took me a long time to forgive you, but finally I did. That moment really stands out as being one of the more memorable moments of my career because I was so despised at that time.
And here they are, still to this day, reigning as tag team champions of the world in 2025.
Yeah. All right.
Which is remarkable, considering you literally burned his house down, apparently, according to that storyline. So
I will say this.
You killed his dog.
Whenever they said, Vince told us, he said, we would like, to do this. We're going to say, Jeff did have a house fire, and I was the one who showed up, and I was terrified because I didn't know if he was there. I didn't know if his wife was there, and he wasn't there when this was happening, and they rushed back. And I remember feeling so sick that I couldn't do any. I mean, the whole thing was up in flames. I remember seeing it I live on the same property, obviously, the Hardy compound. And then Vince said, we were thinking about this. He had these accidents. So I think we're going to say you're the one responsible for burning down his house and that you killed his dog. And I was like, I'm not trying to be hard to work with. I said, but I think that might be a little much. That's like, I get like Jeff being, a more popular champion than me, him being universally more popular than me overall. I'm still popular in my own right, but like he is super popular. I get being jealous of that, and I get all that. Maybe, I do set off the fireworks to try and mess him up with this. I said, but burning his house down and killing his dog? I said, don't you think that's a little extreme? He said, damn it, you can do it. Just say you did it. Don't be afraid to get the heat. Take it. Get the heat. It's like, well, I think it might be a little too much. Like, I don't know if people was going to buy it. It's like that I really did it. And that was actually both. I don't think Jeff even voiced his opinion, but we both felt that people were going to say like, that's a little too much. I was buying everything, but I don't know if I buy this.
Maybe it was Obama getting, back at Jeff for saying he was bigger than him.
Maybe it was. I don't know.
Could have been.
Maybe.
But we are here to talk about the Royal Rumble 2000 Tag Team Tables match. Now, we can't talk about that match without understanding what laid the foundation for it. And I think we can agree that it traces back to No Mercy, 1999, where it's you, your brother Jeff, against Edge and Christian in the first ever tag team ladder match.
All right.
The finals. We all know that February is the month of love. And it can be nerve-wracking getting ready for a first date. You're thinking, how does your hair look? You're wondering if you're being too forward. You're wondering if you're being too flirty. And you're also really worried about your pits stinking. And thankfully, a non-negotiable before a first date is deodorant. And Mando has you covered. Mando is extremely versatile And personally, on my first date with my girlfriend, I brought the Mando deodorant wipes, and they came in handy because, boy, I was sweating. See, Mando is a whole-body deodorant that's safe to use anywhere on your body. Your pits, your balls, your thigh folds, your belly buttons, your butt cracks, and yes, even your feet. It was created by a doctor who saw firsthand how normal BO was being misdiagnosed and mistreated, and it's clinically proven to block odor all day and control odor for up to 72 hours. Mando is clinically proven to control odor better than a shower with soap alone. 12 hours after a shower, the average man's grundle odor, it's a 5 out of 10. With Mando, the average grundle level, a 0 out of 10. Want to try America's #1 whole body deodorant formula right now? You can find them in Walmart, Target, and other retailers across the country, but for the best deals, you go to shopmando.com. Mando's starter pack is perfect for new customers. It comes with solid stick deodorant, cream tube deodorant, 2 free products of your choice like mini body wash and deodorant wipes, and yes, free shipping. And as a special offer for our listeners, new customers get $5 off a starter pack with our exclusive code. That equates to over 40% off your starter pack. All you gotta do is use code HARDY, that's HARDY, at shopmando.com, shopmando.com. Please support the extreme life of Matt Hardy. Tell them we sent you, and then you're gonna smell fresher, stay drier, and boost your confidence from head to toe with Mando. The finals of the Terry Invitational Tournament, colloquially known as the Tit. You guys won the Tit. Congratulations.
Thank you.
And that match goes down as one of the most iconic matches in wrestling history because it never had been done before. We wouldn't be on this stage right now had that match not happened. Mm-hmm. So how did we get from there to a few months later, the first ever tag team table match?
It's a great question. The tag team ladder match that happened at No Mercy, we had no idea. I think we knew because the applause of the crowd, we were doing a lot of things they'd never seen before. And it got bigger and bigger and bigger, and it kept getting louder and like more massive. Every time we would do these spots and every time we escalated the spot, the applause would escalate as well. And we knew we were doing something real special, but we had no idea how big it would truly become. We all came back, we were all happy, but it was like it was truly a industry-changing match because that ladder match. That ladder match made ladder matches become a staple of pro wrestling. And this ladder match was the first piece of the puzzle that led to the TLC concept, which TLC now is going to be a concept in pro wrestling from here on out. So the end days, until Earth is no more. Maybe we'll be on Mars still having TLC matches. I don't know.
Maybe we'll have them in Greenland. Who knows?
I know that. Who knows? It might be the new state. Who knows? And the fact is, they were looking to try and do something similar to that, but with us and the Dudleys now. So they were hoping we could create that same kind of magic that we did in the tag team ladder match. And I said, well, at ECW, tables was their thing. If anybody watched any of the early Extreme Championship Wrestling and the Dudleys got major heat, they would put their people through tables, their opponents, their opposition, and that was kind of their bit. So I said, what if we had a tag team tables match with these guys? And we kind of did it like the whole tag team ladder match.
So this is you pitching this?
Yeah, this is just my idea. I think I'm telling Michael Hayes. And I know the Dudleys were cool with it. They wanted to do stuff with tables. And I said, what if we could get to a scenario, because we want to break a lot of tables too. I'm not going to lie. Full disclosure. I said, both members of the team have to offensively be put through a table, so that way we could have guys jump and miss and break extra tables, whatever else. And then we sold them on the idea, and I guess we had a little equity with the big man, with Vince at the time, because we had done so well in this tag team ladder match scenario, and we really turned the corner, and we became big stars. Our reactions every night, whether it was a live event or TV, were so much bigger following the tag team ladder match. And then he was going to give us another opportunity to do it in this tag team tables match with the Dudleys.
What did Vince think of the Dudleys at the time, coming in from ECW? You may remember Bubba Ray was given a stuttering gimmick out of the gates. They were wearing the tie-dye they wore in ECW. Then that was changed not long after. Was there an adjustment period for them as they came in?
He was. Well, he was doing the stuttering deal in ECW. So
was.
I think he just carried that over. I have no idea. Honestly, Vince may have enjoyed. I could see that being something Vince enjoyed in some ways, the whole stuttering gimmick and saying something silly and crazy. But I do know he probably thought these guys were. They weren't WWE ready. They didn't have a WWE look. And Vince also would think, like, if you came from ECW or if you came from WCW, like, oh, they've got that ECW stench on them. We've got to repackage them. We've got to make them a star. WWE, we deal with stars here.
Right.
And I'm sure that's kind of what he thought. There was a time where they put them through a test. They had them get beat up a little bit by the APA, and they didn't complain. They didn't complain. They did whatever, and they sucked it up and ate it. And then they ended up kind of like earning the trust, I think, of the office. And then whenever they did earn the trust, they decided to repackage them, much like they repackaged us. And they ended up getting the new camo outfits, and they were rocking and rolling in that. And that was earlier on, right before we had the tables match, too.
So was there a lot of convincing that needed to happen for Vince for you guys to do this tables match? If this is an idea that's coming from how old were you at the time? You're 25 years old,
Yeah.
you know? Like that's a pretty big pitch that you have to make there for a big match like this.
Yeah, Vince is going like, I don't know, am I going to listen to this 25-year-old redneck from Podunk, Cameron, North Carolina? It was cool because we all approached it with a group effort too, and like everybody was all in for it. So we knew we could succeed if put in that position if we had the opportunity to succeed. And one thing I can say is they had promised us a good amount of time, and we had some great ideas. The things you see, if you watch that Royal Rumble tables match back, and if you don't know the story, like we got cut on time right before we went out, but we just made like we called a huddle, right? And we're just talking like, hey, we lost 3 minutes, 4 minutes, like, and we have other stuff we're gonna do. Like, what should we do? What should not be in the match? What should be deleted? What should be cut out or not? And we just ended up saying, myself and Bubba, we're just like, we should just burn through it. We should burn through it all. Like, they promised us this, and they kind of cut our time. This last minute, we're getting ready to go out right now, so we should just burn through it. So if you watch that match back, there is not a ton of selling. There are a ton of unpredicted chair shots to the head. That I can tell you. They've had to cut that match out. You don't see that match anywhere now because we beat the hell out of each other with chairs. But then, like, we go through tables and we keep coming back, we keep coming back, we keep coming back. So we burned through that. But that kind of also added to how iconic the match ended up being.
Sure. So let's not skip too far ahead then, because you just said your match gets cut. So how much time were you originally given? Do you know why it got cut? Who tells you it's getting cut? What happened there?
Well, I don't have a clear-cut answer about why it got cut. But I can say it was a little earlier in the night. We were going to originally have, I think, 16 minutes, 15 or 16 minutes. And then we end up with 12-ish, 12 to 13.
And in wrestling time, that's a lot of time.
That's a lot of time.
Cut.
Yeah, that is a lot of time. And, you know, I don't know. Later in the night, Triple H was wrestling Mankind, and it was at a Falls Count Anywhere
They had a street fight. Mm-hmm.
And then there were once again, this is just conspiracy theories, but there were some people said, well, they knew you guys stole the show at No Mercy 99, so maybe they had a something to do with that, and who knows? But it did get cut, and I don't think anything went super heavy, so I'll just leave it at that. Who knows?
So it wasn't the Miss Royal Rumble bikini competition that Mae Young won. That wasn't what cut you guys.
I mean, maybe. I don't know. I mean, that was such quality television.
Yeah.
There's no way they could turn away from that. If it goes over, I guess it goes over.
Yeah. Again, I did a little pre-show chat with some people who were here earlier. I said, not a banner show for WWE, but the tables match was one of the matches that stole the show. This is at Madison Square Garden.
Yes, at MSG.
That has to be brought into the equation here. Because
and that adds a big a big time fight feel to the whole moment. You're at MSG, and there's been so many iconic matches and actual fights in this venue.
Yeah.
And MSG was like, man, anybody here from New York? Is in here? And I was just gonna say, man, yeah, there you go. He's like, me too. I live in the city now. He's a big city boy now.
It's true.
And I'll never forget, Jeff and I were so excited. It was 1998, the very first time we were still wearing tights, the plaid tights and whatnot, hope and faith. And
Just $2 of youth, right?
Yeah, we were $2 of youth. Nothing sacred anymore. They made a whole career out of copying us. And we were wearing tights, and it was our second or third loop on the road. And we got to go to MSG, and Jeff and I were like, oh, my God, this is the most amazing thing. We're going to Madison Square Garden, and we've made it. If you're at MSG, like, you've made it. Like, we've done so good. We were buddies with Scotty Too Hottie. We're longtime friends with him. And I'll never forget, we were all through riding, and we were driving in New York City, and we were coming up through Newark. We went through the Lincoln Tunnel, and I was driving. Second or third loop on the road. I'm from North Carolina. I go through, and it's like rush hour, and I'm like, holy shit. The traffic and just the crazy news. Like, oh, my God, okay. We do that. We get there. We go, okay, where do we park at? They go, you park over here in the pay parking lot. So, we do? Okay. $50 or whatever. And then, like, go, okay, where do we go in? And you'd have to go in through the fans, and there would always be 1,000 people out there. It was such a headache. And then, like, once you would get in MSG and get up there to the building, the locker rooms were the smallest of all the places. And we're like, man, this is cool that we're in MSG, but like what a hassle it is to get here and like work here and everything else. But still, with that being said, like MSG is just such an iconic building. Is
the energy different there?
Yeah, I mean, I think you just realize how many historic moments have been there, so it's a different energy. And man, the New Yorkers always brought energy.
Well, that's what I want to ask you about that, because you're doing this revolutionary concept, this tables match. You could go out there and lay an egg. It could be terrible, and these New York fans are going to let you know if this thing sucks.
Yeah.
So are you worried about that going into it, about how they might react to this?
We felt pretty good because people were into us following the tag team ladder match, and we knew we were going to do a lot of nuts. A lot of the things we're going to be doing were going to be absolutely nuts. So we knew they would react because they were going to be seeing some stuff they'd never seen before.
It's an extremely physical match, and like you said, you are burning through it. Something you've prided a lot over the years is that as these hardcore matches evolved, the storytelling evolved with it too. You tried to incorporate more selling. You tried to incorporate things linking from point A to point B. But when your time is cut, does some of that have to get sacrificed?
Definitely, there was selling sacrificed. If we would have had more time and we could have stretched it out, we could have sold more. I feel like we could have made things more dramatic. I mean, there's one spot that the way we had originally pictured in our head is where I have a table. I have the stairs setting up long ways, and I have a table sitting on the ring apron onto the stairs as they're like pointed straight up, and Devon is on that table. And then there's another table that is laid against the barricade a little ways away from that. And you see me go up to the top, and I jump off the top turnbuckle to put him through this table to the floor. And I missed the leg drop. He barely rolls off. And we're going to do that, and we're going to let the crowd react like, oh, my God, he's dead. Oh, just killed him. Oh, I can't believe he survived that, whatever else. And he was going to slowly, take 45 seconds, crawl over and pull himself up on the barricade and be by that one other table. And then Jeff was going to run out through the ring and try and dive. He was going to move out of the way at the last second, and then Jeff was going to eat that table. And then there's going to be another big dramatic sound. We're going to let the crowd, then they would have probably chanted, like, holy shit, holy shit. Now it would be, this is awesome, as the times modernized. But that stuff happened. It was like me off the leg drop, boom, boom, he's on the table, boom, Jeff threw. And we didn't let the crowd sit and didn't let them come up. And it was like, it was jamming a lot into one little moment. But like when you go back and watch those two spots in such quick fashion like that, it's like, holy shit, this is crazy. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that also made it very iconic.
But I think the fact that it was the first time it happened, you almost have more grace to be able to get away with that.
Oh, we do. I mean, once again, like people say all the time, like, oh my God, no, they don't do TLC matches like you guys do nowadays. And once again, we had a great advantage because we were the first guys to ever do that. We had the opportunity to go out there and have a blank canvas and paint it for the first time. So everything we do, especially if it means something to people that watch it, and it's like a memory they hold dear in their heart and their mind. It's hard for other people to top that later down the road when it seems like they're just doing something else. It's kind of like some sort of secondary type TLC match, not the OGs.
The most iconic moment from the match, of course, Jeff standing on top of the concourse.
Yes.
throws up the Hardy guns, 20,000 people, sea of people staring at him, and he does a swanton off the concourse through a table. It's one of the most replayed WWE moments of the last 30 years. How'd that moment come together, and how'd you guys feel it came across?
One thing that was cool is they were okay with us going up into the crowd and through the crowd, and they knew this. I know Michael Hayes pushed really hard for us to get that, and whenever we got up there, it was the tables were set up initially, and it's very funny looking back at it because Bubba had set it up for 4 tables, I think, is what it was, and he acted like he was going to take Jeff and powerbomb him. It took them a second to get the structure together. I think we had 2 of the tables down already, but like. He took Jeff up here. He has him like he's going to give him a powerbomb. Jeff ends up getting out of that. He ends up giving him chair shots, and Bubba falls backwards through the tables, and there were 4 tables there. And I think part of that was by design because Bubba was like, hey, if I'm going backwards taking this bump, I need 4 tables because I do not want to get hurt. I want to make sure that I hit a table. And then what's so funny is Jeff's swanton, I think, is even more iconic because I have to set up another table because the other tables are either broken or like the legs are bent, and set up another table and put Devon on it. And Jeff does that swanton onto one table and puts Devon through it. You know what I mean? That's like threading a needle in some way. Yeah. You know what I mean? He has to hit it perfect. Like if you go over that, you're going to hit the concrete and kill yourself or kill your opponent, whatever else. So Jeff nailed it. He hit it perfect, which is wild. So that's how that ended up happening. The Bubbas are going up. They're going to try and destroy Jeff. There's enough time to make the save and turn things around. Jeff knocks him down with an unprotected chair shot. Boom, he take actually 2. He had to take 2 because he had to look strong, brother. And he went down through the tables. And then we set up another table right there, and there's Jeff giving Devon the swanton.
Who pitched doing the swanton?
I just read a report that America is now in more credit card debt than ever before, more than $1.1 trillion. You know, my grandfather used to say, there's no stress like money stress, son. Well, are you feeling that right now? Let me help. You've got a friend in the mortgage business in me, and I've helped families just like yours save hundreds of dollars a month. Seriously, we've helped listeners to this podcast save up to $800 a month. At SaveWithConrad.com, we routinely help our podcast listeners consolidate all of their high interest rate credit cards into just one much lower monthly payment. Would you like to lower your monthly payments? Wouldn't it be nice to skip your next 2 house payments? Are you finally ready for some breathing room and peace of mind? Start saving money today with your friend in the mortgage business, me, at SaveWithConrad.com. You don't need perfect credit. You don't need money out of your pocket. And if we can't help you save some cash, we won't waste your time. You see, at SaveWithConrad.com, we don't say no. We say not yet, but here's how. We want to be your mortgage advisor for life. So find out how easy it is to finally get rid of your credit card debt once and for all, get a much lower monthly payment, and even skip your next 2 house payments. Let's find out how much money you can save for free at SaveWithConrad.com.
NMLS number 2129, Equal Housing Lender.
SaveWithConrad.com.
Jeff did, but Michael Hayes was all about it. He knew it was a star-making moment, and I thought it was too.
Hypothetically speaking, if you were Brother Nero, what might that have sounded like pitching, doing a swanton there?
Oh, yeah. So that balcony, it looks like it's pretty safe. I could just, like, jump off there, swanton a guy through a table. Is that cool? He's saying it that cool and collected, man. He didn't care. And one of the stories, I just saw someone that did a funny spoof video on this just about a month ago, and I actually posted it because they said all kinds of crazy things in it. And he said, like, Jeff did the deal, and Jeff probably is really selling. He did hit the floor hard. I mean, he's tired. He's been beat up the whole match, right? And Vince was adamant when I tell you, he said, after he does that swanton, he said, you get his ass up, and you make sure to get into the ring. Make sure he gets up. I want a beauty shot in the ring of my Hardys. I want a beauty shot. That has to happen. So we're already racing time. So Jeff's doing this, and there's 30 seconds left after he hits the swanton, and you just see me snatch up. He's a corpse, and I pick him up, and I put him on my shoulder, and I carry him. I throw him over the barricade, I throw him into the ring, and then we stand up and like do the beauty shot because Vince was adamant. He said, that better happen because we had 30 seconds. And that guy who was doing the spoof video, he said, look at Matt. He said he's jumped through, and he said, like, Jeff, I'm tired of this shit, man. Get it together. And he picks him up. He just throws him over the barricade. Go back and watch that match. It's crazy how I scoop him up. When we get to the barricade, I just like chunk him over the barricade. I'm just hustling to try and get to our time to get him in the ring and get the one thing that Vince insisted on.
Because the match could have been awesome, but if you didn't get that hero shot at
Oh,
the
yeah,
end.
yeah. We'd been done. Yeah, right. It was absolutely Weekend at Jeff's.
Oh, what was the reaction to the match backstage?
Good. Yeah, people were going, "You're nuts." You know, they go, "All you guys are nuts." But it was very positive. I'm sure there were people, because we burned through the match and we didn't sell as much as we should have.
You killed the business.
Yes, I'm sure there were some people that saying, "Oh, these young rookies, they killed the business." Much like I say to the young rookies, no, which I don't.
He
I'm very
doesn't.
open-minded. Yeah, that's a little bit of humor. That's some humor, and dad humor maybe. And it seemed really well received, especially for the guys that wanted to see us succeed and do well. They thought that we did really well, and it was just something that was so different. It was totally a demolition derby. It was a car crash, but it is something that the people that were diehard wrestling fans were into, seeing a car crash like that.
Did that match make the Dudleys?
It did. I think that was a big turning point for the Dudleys, because there was, you could tell at that time that myself and Jeff and Edge and Christian were like definitively ahead of where the Dudleys were in the hierarchy, and they were right there, and that put them on that level. And then once we all three got booked for the Triangle ladder match, after the success of our ladder match, we knew we were going to use tables. And at WrestleMania 2000, that in theory was the first ever TLC match, because we incorporated all those different items. And once we had that match, I think everybody, our legacies were cemented, especially for the foreseeable future, because we all three did something really, really special.
Where does the tag team table match stack for you in terms of your career highlights? I think most people would agree, and subjective, but I think most would agree TLC 2 is probably the best of the hardcore matches, the TLC matches. But where does the tables match sit?
I mean, I would say it is it's a top 10 match for sure.
Okay.
I mean, just looking at these things, even from my personal favorites would probably be different from Impact. But if you want to talk about Impact simply, I would say probably the most impactful thing is TLC 2, right? The tag team ladder match from '99 has got to be number 2. Probably TLC 1 is number 3. Final Deletion has to be in there somewhere, because that was a huge deal. And it's funny, that was like on a smaller level, but that ended up being so massive for myself and Jeff.
WWE only got through the pandemic era because of cinematic stuff that was laid down. The Undertaker's last match was a cinematic match that would have never happened if the Final Deletion didn't
Which was
happen.
directed by the same guy who directed the Final Deletion. Yeah.
Jeremy Borash, correct.
Yeah, JB, right.
Absolutely, yeah. Shouts to JB. There you go.
So we might even do that. I was going to say, too, when you look at Jeff, I mean, Jeff's also got some definitive matches. Me versus Edge in a cage was a big deal. Jeff versus Undertaker was a big deal. Jeff winning the WWE title was a big deal. Those are all really definitive matches, but it's within a doubt, at a minimum, within the top 10 of our most impactful matches.
That's my favorite. Is there anything else you want to add on that match?
It was one of those things where we went out there and we really wanted to break as many tables as we could. And it's great that they gave us the license to go out there and break a lot of tables. And no one got mad because we went as fast as we did, and nobody really bitched at us about not selling, because it was such a spectacle. And it was also such a spectacle, it aired on Halftime Heat during the Super Bowl, which it was a big deal, because it was something they wanted to highlight. Like, look at the future of WWE. It has these young guys that have these insane, crazy matches. They're like invincible, cyborgs who can just go and go and go and go and go. So it was a really special thing, and I'm so glad that we all huddled up and we made the decision. I mean, the leaders of those teams, I don't think anyone would dispute this who is in the know, would be me and would be Bubba. When it comes to myself and Jeff, I'm the architect, I'm the engineer, I kind of construct everything, put it together, and Jeff's just the rock star. He just walks out there and is like the coolest man on the face of the planet Earth. That's just kind of how things work. It is what it is. But Bubba and I, we looked at each other and we said, that's the way to do it. Let's burn through this and let's make this happen. And if they get mad, they get mad. We'll deal with it afterwards.
Yeah, I wouldn't want to be in front of an angry Bubba Ray Dudley, honestly. So I'm going to take the high road on that one. A lot of people find themselves in the crosshairs these days. So
They do.
Listen, man, it is an unbelievable match. If you've never seen the tag team table match, go out of your way, rewatch it, because it is truly an iconic Hardy Boys match, one of many iconic matches, needless to say. And here you are at 50 years young. Your skills only slightly deteriorating.
Slightly.
But doing cold plunges every morning, kicking ass.
Yeah.
Just a little bit. A wee bit.
Yeah.
And man, it's just amazing how many fantastic tag teams have been inspired by what the Hardys are doing now and what you did before. And now you're a dream match for so many people.
It is insane. Private Party, oh my God, it'd be our dream match to face you. Top Flight, it'd be our dream match to face you. The Rascals, it'd be our dream match to face you. ABC, it'd be our dream match to face you. Fraxium, it'd be our dream match to face you guys. It is just so crazy. And it's cool that we've just had this type of longevity and we've been around long enough that there were people that were so inspired because we changed the business with, the tag team ladder match, the tag team tables match, into all the TLC stuff. And just the style of wrestling. I think we opened the doors for smaller guys. They could be a little more athletic, a little more acrobatic and do things. And the size of the business has gone down. But we're really lucky to be in an era where we were able to be a couple guys that did that were kind of groundbreakers as far as smaller guys being able to get over or go further in the business than guys our size had in the past. And I also think, too, even the way we dressed a little bit, there were a lot of people that looked at us and said, you know what, those guys, they're crazy, they'll do anything, they're maniacs, but I think if I knew them, we'd be friends because they just wear these big baggy jeans and a tight shirt. They look pretty cool. They seem real down to earth. They're humble dudes from North Carolina. So I think we'd be friends if I knew them. And we really had a great connection with fans like that. And I feel like that's both of us have always been very blessed. We felt very honored to be able to live this life that we live. We achieved our dream, and when we interact with people, I think people can tell that it's very genuine, it's very authentic, and we're just very happy to be doing what we're doing, and we're just so blessed to have so many people support us like they have. Because I say this all the time, and I do mean this, and Jeff does too. Without you, without the fans that have supported us, there would be no us. So thank you all very much.
The Hardy Boys will not die.
That's right.
They
will not die.
You exist to inspire. There are a lot of people here who've been inspired by both of you. And, you both are so unique in your own ways, too. I think it's been amazing. If you don't listen to the podcast, or if this is your first time getting a chance to, I highly encourage you to check out the archive. There's more than 160 episodes to pick from. He gives such great insight. He tells great stories, and he has so much to offer. And then Brother Nero has his own talents that are so unique to him that in just a couple minutes here, you guys are going to get to see as he puts on a live acoustic concert. I don't think you'll be doing duets with him, though, correct?
I don't know. I might just
doing
open it
Hunger
up for
Strike?
him. Yeah, maybe. I wish I could sing.
It's like the one thing you can't do.
Yeah.
So
I was just going to say, John, I was just thinking about that when you gave that introduction earlier, and I want to say it because you just hit it again. You said 160 episodes. I mean, obviously 52 plus 52 plus 52 equals 156. And if we're 160 plus, that means we're in the fourth year, so we're seniors. Do we graduate this year?
We're seniors.
We're seniors.
Yes.
So, yeah, if you guys get a chance, please check out the podcast. And also, if you get the opportunity, there's links on my page. There's links on John's and also the Matt Hardy Pod social media accounts. Check out the video we just recently did with Guga. It's great. There's some kicking, there's some wrestling, and there's some fun talk in there. I kind of rate how dangerous or how much each one of my most major opponents' finishers hurt.
Yes, a lot of them looked like they hurt quite a bit. So.
Oh yeah, it all hurts a lot.
Yes, it certainly does. So we are so appreciative of all of you guys. If you listen to the podcast, thank you for supporting that. You can check it out, extremehardy.com. And of course, I tell everyone out there, head over to advertisewithhardy.com as well if you'd like to get on board with our team. Advertisewithhardy.com gets you out in front of thousands of listeners and viewers every single week on the Extreme Life of Matt Hardy. Matt, anything else you'd like to add here at WrestleCon?
I would just like to say, first and foremost, if anybody came through at our table today, thank you very much. We appreciate you. It was a great turnout. And Jeff and I, once again, and I say this about feeling blessed, but like, this is 33 years in the business we've had. 33 years. We've been doing this since 1992, which is crazy. And
were you born yet? No? Okay.
How old are you? 9. My oldest is 9. It's a good year. When's your birthday? What month? March 8th? Okay, well, you're older than my son. You're older than King Maxwell. There you go. Good deal. Well, happy early birthday.
Yeah,
I'm excited
happy
for
early
you.
birthday too.
But I just want to say, like, we're at TNA right now, and we're being utilized in a great way. We worked really hard. We earned a tag team title shot. We went and we had a Full Metal Mayhem, which is TNA's version of the TLC match where we won the tag team titles. And we've been on this real incredible run, especially like with our meet and greets and just the support we've had. And I'm just so appreciative that there's so many people out there that still believe in us, that still want to see us, that want to meet us. And it means the world to me because, like, you guys allow me to live my dream every single day. So thank you all very much. And thank you. One thing I can say, I hope if you've been a longtime supporter of myself and Jeff, we have been able to build memories for you that hopefully will last a lifetime. And hopefully there's some moments within our career that you emotionally connect with and something you can carry with that either inspires you or motivates you or either go like, God, remember when they did that? That was so cool. The fact that we are able to be in the position to give people memories that last. And also now there's fathers who grew up watching us and now they have sons and now their sons are fans and they bond over, and that's the coolest thing ever. I have kids and I have 3 boys, and just our bonding time over wrestling is very, very cool already. So that means the world to me whenever I hear that, when dads come through and they have their kids with us and they bond over Hardy Boys matches. It's really amazing. But a lot of people come through and say, oh my God, you were my childhood. You gave me so many great childhood memories. Well, guys, I'm not going to lie. We're still working to build some adulthood memories in everyone too. And as I said, with this TNA WWE agreement, this partnership going on, there's going to be some really cool special stuff happening in the future. And it's going to be, 2025 is going to be a good year for Man Jeff Hardy.
The words have been spoken. We'll see you next time right here on the Extreme Life of Matt Hardy.
Delete!